Oh.
Clap take 2.
This is what happens when you take a week off, right?
Yeah, we literally just hit record on both things, and I had my audio box off, so no audio.
We're talking
and we're just
about
here talking about. Yeah, we're talking about the chickens in the backyard.
Yeah.
They're scratching the place in my backyard here. They're scratching the place up, so all these other birds turn up, and bloody. It's an insane. It's like a menagerie down there.
Yeah.
And they're all around the place. Cockatoos, butcher birds, chickens, and crows. Honey, she watches them. This morning she ran down to try and eat one of the chickens.
No, really?
She just can't help herself sometimes. Like if I go down there and hang out with her,
She actually attacks them?
not attacks them, but she's like, if she's with me, she's cool. But then I'm sitting at the top of the stairs here, soaking in the sun, and I look down the back. And Honey just legs it down there because she doesn't know I'm watching, and she goes for the chicken.
Fuck.
Bites its ass. She
really?
gets it on the tail. And the chicken does nothing. Chicken just goes and looks around and goes... Literally, and Honey's just got a mouthful of its ass. I'm just like, Honey. And I'm like, Honey. And she goes... I'm like, oh, shit.
With the chicken in its mouth.
She literally can't help herself, though. I think because I've noticed when she's with you, she's very calm, but every now and then she gets like a tenseness in her body. And she's just a hunter.
Her natural instincts fucking kick in. I'm gonna fuck you up, chicken.
I think she ate one of my uncle's chickens when she stayed at their place when we went on holiday. So she's got a taste, and I feed her chicken all the time.
Man, she's like the same size as a chicken. How the fuck does she...
Well, that's literally why the chicken, I think, didn't panic so much.
Yeah, the chicken's like, bro, we're the same size.
Yeah,
The chicken probably can fuck her up too.
I reckon it'd be a good showdown.
Like, if they all gang up,
If I had to
imagine they all circle.
Four chickens.
Fuck.
4 chickens versus Honey. Who'd you place your bets on?
Chickens. Dude, chickens can get fucking intense.
I reckon Honey would take down 2 of them before she'd run away scared.
Yeah, probably.
She'd snap one of their necks. Yeah.
She'd fucking cry.
Yeah, she's such a pussy. Honey.
Yeah.
Oi, come here. We got to show the viewers who you are.
Come.
She's looking at us like, I'm not coming on.
She's like, fuck your podcast. I don't want to be part of this.
She's stage shy. Honey, come here. Come on.
Like, no, I don't want to be...
She literally doesn't want to come. Look at her.
No.
Come here. Wow.
No.
Do you think she actually knows what we're doing? That's the behaviour of someone who doesn't want to be on camera.
Yeah, true.
Honey, up here, come on.
No.
Okay, fine.
No, fine. Oh, well, I guess we'll move on from that.
Yeah, well,
Honey's
you
not
can
gonna-
sleep outside tonight, so...
Bitch.
She's looking so concerned.
She's got this old man.
Yeah,
sort of
like a
look.
mopey. It reminds me of like a... I don't know if it's the right word, like a basset hound, like a wolfhound, with they got the real mope face.
Yeah, she's got like that.
The big
fuck my
hanging
life.
jowls or whatever.
She's
I wish you
just-
guys could see it. She looks absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
Honey, it's okay. Come on.
So yeah, this was a bit... We took a week off because I went
Yeah.
down to Sydney.
Yeah, so it's a bit different this time.
So yeah, just going back into it again feels a bit like, okay, we're doing this again.
Yeah, because having that week off kind of made it feel like we'd kind of stopped a bit. That felt a little like a bit of a halt to it all, but which is all right. I mean,
So give us about 10-15 minutes and we'll find our groove soon.
We'll get back into it. Oh. Well, one thing that did happen recently is, I don't know if we mentioned the last one. I think we did the podcast literally, the last podcast we did the day before Jiu-Jitsu started.
Yeah, that's right.
We did it on the Monday and it started on the Tuesday, so we...
How's that been for you?
Oh, mate.
Just getting back into it?
I don't really know how to say it, but it doesn't feel the same anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know,
I have that fire to do it, but at the same time, it's like, you remember when you were doing it before the break and you would like literally think about the moves you were doing all the time. You'd think jiu-jitsu. I'm not doing that. And I don't know if it's because we've only been back for a week. That could be a thing. Or because it's a little difficult and like stressful in your head that you might miss out on a class if you don't book in properly. Like there's a booking system now for our jiu-jitsu, which is fine. It's just, I get worried sometimes I'm going to miss out. And then you could have a whole week of, you know, because
anything.
it's like for me and you, I think both Tuesday and the Thursday, we can't do the Wednesday and the Friday. So it's like if you miss out on Tuesday and Thursday, then it's basically no jiu-jitsu that week for you.
I feel like as long as we don't get any more people being promoted in the beginners class that would get bumped up to our class. I think we should be pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
Because there's not too many.
I think the way our sensei is kind of saying it, especially in like the text, like the one this morning, he sounds really confident that bookings can be taken away fairly soon. Wouldn't know, that could be a month or something, but
yeah, we're not doing too bad in Queensland compared to the
it's
rest
still
of
stressful,
the
though,
main cities.
thinking that it could get here and then the dojo could shut down again.
Yeah, well, there could be an outbreak here as well, just like Melbourne and Sydney, and
there's been,
and then we're back to fucking square one again. I couldn't handle that. I'd be like, I don't know. It's fucked, man. It's fucked. I mean,
thankfully we had worked through the first wave, I guess.
But I gotta say, because I went down to Sydney last week.
Yeah.
And just seeing people in Sydney and seeing people here, man, big difference. Over there, no one gave a fuck. Like, I went down to the shops, I think my second day, we went out for breakfast, just with my mum and my sister, and everyone's just like, I mean, obviously all the restaurants and cafes are following the rules and everything, but general public, everyone's like right up on each other's ass, you're on the travelator, everyone's like fucking going into the lifts, like 10 people. I'm like, what the fuck? Well, over here, I feel like people are a lot more sort of careful.
I wonder why, though. Is it because Sydney's maybe a bigger, more bustling city or something? I don't know, there's more going on there. People gotta do more stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, one population is it's a lot higher there. But yeah, I don't know. Sydney in general, with or without the virus, it's just a lot more intense.
So is there a breakout in Sydney?
Right now, yeah.
So first Melbourne, now Sydney.
Mm-hmm. That's why I had to fucking get questioned when I landed in Brisbane by the fucking army and the police force.
Yeah, so that was when you were leaving the Sydney airport.
Yeah.
They before you even got to your plane.
No. So they said, before we got on the plane, they're like, look, they said Queensland has new rules. If you're from these hotspots, I think it was like Casula and Liverpool, they said if you've been to these areas in the last 14 days, you're not going to be allowed entry to Queensland. So you sort of go at your own risk. And they said, look, when we land, there's going to be cops there questioning you and blah, blah, blah. And we had to apply for a border pass. So it's not like they don't let you fly. They let you fly. But then if they find out you've been to these areas, you either go back to Sydney or you check yourself in a hotel for 14 days and almost $3,000 out of your own sort of pocket. So that was a bit nerve-wracking, just landing and seeing, because normally you land, you get out of the plane and it's just like whatever. You know, I just go towards where the Ubers are, but yeah, we had to line up, so that took a while. They set up sort of like, I don't know, 8 to 10 tables. And they call you in, they look at your pass, they ask you where you've been, how long you stayed in Sydney, why you went, and how long, all these sort of questions. Jeez. I mean, I wasn't in those areas from the, hotspot, but you still get a bit nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, right now, the areas that I was in is actually, there's cases now popping up in those areas as well now. So lucky I came back when I did. Because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to.
You would have had to go back to Sydney. You wouldn't have gone for a hotel.
No, for $3,000, fuck that. I'd fly back for $200, stay with the family.
100%.
Who knows for how long? But yeah, it's been interesting. But good to be back. Just been playing a lot of PlayStation lately, man.
Oh man,
some good games at the moment, eh? Fucking Last of Us. I finished that.
I feel like my brain's literally... So, the game we're probably going to talk about the most is called Ghost of Tsushima, and it came out Thursday night, I think. I didn't play it till Friday afternoon because I had to go to work, and I've fucking... If I didn't have as much self-restraint I would have been up all night, turned up to work, smashed as fuck from no sleep. So I was like, no, you got to play it Friday night. Been playing straight from Friday night until yesterday night, basically.
So how many hours?
Probably 30 hours.
30 hours, holy shit.
Or probably just under.
So you'll probably have a lot more input than I do.
But I can't give too much because I don't want to give it away for you. There's no, because the way you play the game, it's not like a massive spoiler thing. Because, the way I'm playing is a lot of exploration. So I'm not going to spoil the story too much for you anyway. you can probably already imagine what you like. It tells you what you have to do anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game, Ghost of Tsushima, it's set on the island of Tsushima, which is just off the coast of Japan, next to, I think it's Uki Island, I think is another one, a little smaller one next to it. And Tsushima is basically based right between Korea and Japan, and it's like a really short trip, super short trip between the coast of Korea, Japan, Tsushima, and then Japan. So, and this is set in I think it's the 13th century, they said.
Don't ask me too much about the facts, because I don't know.
Said.
I do want to read more into it.
Yeah, because
just starting the game made me sort of... Man, I'm like, oh man, I want to learn more about this.
Yeah, I think what I looked at this morning, the actual invasion was... There was 2 invasions of Japan from the Mongol Empire. The first, I can't remember, I think 1274, and then the second was 1281. But I can't remember which one was the Tsushima invasion as well.
Yeah, fair
right?
enough.
So I don't know which one of those, but anyway, it's set in the setting of the Mongol invading Tsushima to gain a foothold in Tsushima, so then they can proceed and invade Japan. And you play Jin Sakai, which is he's like the only son left of the Sakai clan, and he's fighting next to his uncle, who's basically, I guess, the lord of Tsushima.
Yeah, and he's like been kidnapped. Like he gets kidnapped earlier on the game.
Yeah, so the fucking game starts off so good. I was worried how it was going to be. I'm like, oh, classic like games, they could really slowly walk you through shit. But
no, they're just
it's like here's a battle,
fight.
Bro. Here's a battle, have a fight. So you start. So this is where one of the like landing points for the Mongols was on Komodo Beach, which is where
that's
you
where
start.
the game kicks off pretty much.
And there was actual 80 samurai.
Yeah, against
6,000-7,000 Mongol ships and people or whatever.
Yeah.
And you basically, and I think in the beginning, Jin's like, today I die for Tsushima.
They were all like,
they were like,
we're going to die honorably.
There's fucking 80 of us.
Yeah.
And in the, real world history that I looked at, the samurai were very well versed in one-on-one combat, like face me. And the Mongols were like, no, we're going to send 5 dudes at you, one guy. So they basically got fucked up really quite easily, which is what happens in the game. But yeah, you end up kind of, you're basically the only samurai apart from your uncle that survives, I think. Your uncle gets captured by, I can't remember his name, the Mongol leader.
Genghis Khan's grandson. Which is...
Well, no, Genghis Khan's grandson is Kublai Khan, and this guy's the cousin of Kublai Khan.
Oh, is he?
And this is in the game. Yeah, he said, I'm the cousin of Kublai Khan or something.
I thought he was the grandson of Genghis Khan. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right, actually. He's the grandson and cousin of Kublai.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't fucking know,
I don't
actually. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so he's like invading, and then you get thrown into the game.
Yeah.
And
very early on.
The open world, for people who've never played a video game, this is going to be pointless gibberish to you. But for people who have played video games and like open world games, this is, in my opinion, the pinnacle of open world games ever.
For sure.
And I played so many so-called open world games and literal open world games. Like The Witcher 3 is one of the greatest open world games I've ever played. There's other kind of like what I'd call linear open world games, like Shadow of Mordor. You know what I mean? It's like got an open world, but it's very not like Ghost of Tsushima in a way, but it's still an open world, and it's the way, I guess, just the graphics, the art design, the real world setting, and kind of the history of it all captures you. And the first thing I did, which is I think the same as you, it says, here's the main quest, and you just go...
Yeah, I'm just like, nope, I'm just going to fucking ride my horse into the sunset and explore this world.
The first 4 hours of my play was literally just exploring the world.
Yeah, I've put probably about maybe 6 or 7 hours into it now, and maybe only 2 hours of that is a story mission.
Yeah.
The rest is just me jumping on a horse, just discovering new areas.
Oh, bro,
following foxes and birds.
You wait.
It's one of those games where, man, I knew this game was going to be good, but I didn't think
Yeah.
it was going to be this. In a way, it's sort of it's very relaxing. I don't know if you
that's
get
what
that.
I'd say. It's like
just exploring
there's
the
a
world.
peace to it.
Yeah,
When you
very
hop in the hot
peaceful.
springs and you reflect on stuff. When you go to the fox stand, you follow the fox, or just the bird turns up and the bird takes you. Have you been to a bamboo strike yet?
Yes. How even that?
That's fucking
that
dude.
reminded me of Mortal Kombat. Like the OG Mortal Kombat games where it would
What,
make
like the
you
finishing
these.
moves?
No. So there was these I don't remember which one it was, but one of them had it was on PSP. It had like a story mode where you'd go to these villages and challenge players, and you'd learn these moves, and all these buttons would come up, like how you when smashing the bamboos.
You have to.
Like it would give you like
more.
8 buttons to press in a sort of
I found the
certain amount
bamboo
of
strikes one of my favorite things to do
Oh, it's so fun. I
because
love
the
that.
first and second are pretty easy, but then
Yeah.
you get to the last
The third one is-
and dude, when I every time I got the last one, I went yes. I was like, it felt good. It like there's so much fun because he's just like zoof, and he just cuts through like 7 or 8 bamboo, like you said, and it's so cool. And then the hot springs, and it's just there's a peace to the world, and also I think the way Jin is complements that as well. He's a very honorable, like, cool-headed kind of samurai, but also struggling with his dilemma about being samurai, but then being a
just their
samurai is not
code.
going to be able to defeat the Mongols the way the Mongols. There's thousands of Mongols on this island, and it's basically just him and a few others. And I think like the first girl you meet, she's like, "We got to fucking assassinate these guys. We can't let them
And
see
then,
we're here."
that's where you see him question his. Well,
Yeah.
it actually made me think of jiu-jitsu the other day.
Hmm.
Like because we have certain sort of rules and things that you do and you don't do, things that you can do, but it's disrespectful
It's
to
like
your
frowned upon a
opponent.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, and it sort of feels that way. I sort of like related to that, and like the code, this sort of friendship and this family, the bond that these people have. It sort of feels like. Yeah, in a way, very similar to how jiu-jitsu is. Jiu-jitsu just feels like the modern day of,
Yeah, well,
this sort of...
like there's a mission where I don't want to give too much away, but there's a mission where you go back to Komodo Beach. It's not a main story mission,
Okay,
so
alright.
you might not even find it for a long time.
Yeah.
But then it's like that. He goes back and he sees all his samurai companions,
dead.
and he wants to bury them all, and it's really intense. It's like like you said, that kind of companionship to these fellow warriors, and it's like that throughout the whole thing. It's like you meet these people and they die, and in the mission, Jin will bury them at the end of the mission stuff. There's so much honor and like respect in this game that it just it's so capturing.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. And I don't know, I just didn't think it would click this well with me. But my main thing is just the world they created. And combat. Holy fuck.
Well, you wait, bro.
I haven't played a game where combat felt so satisfying, where if I'm just roaming around the world and I see a bunch of enemies, every other game would be like, fuck. Like if I was playing a Far Cry game or Assassin's Creed
Here's
game,
another group of enemies
where
I'm gonna
you just
shoot.
see random enemies, I'd do my best just to avoid them. Whereas this one's like, fuck yeah, like come at me, bro. 'Cause
Especially
it's just
the standoffs.
so fun.
The
Because
standoffs are
are
insane.
fucking insane. Especially the more you start to upgrade and everything, but just the feedback you get from every time you swing your sword, every time you parry an attack, or because the
parry
game
system? Yeah,
the
fuck.
game puts you in these sort of situations where there's a bunch of enemies and you got to sort of deal with them in a different way. There'll be a guy with there'll be archers who are fucking staying back and throwing fucking arrows at you. Spearmen, shield guys, and then just normal sword guys. And you sort of all have to counter them differently.
Have you done the stance system?
Stances? Yeah, I got
So
the
there's a different stance for every single enemy type, basically, except archers. I think like archers are useless. Like you just shoot them
I
with a bow
just
at the
close
end.
the
Yeah, so
distance with
there's a stance for shield carriers, spearmen, sword fighters, and brutes. And you wouldn't have got the brute one yet because that's the last one you get.
No, I only got 2.
Yeah,
at the
and each one of those stances is an actual samurai technique fighting style or whatever. Like you see it when you do it, and he puts it in the stance. Like they have a different stance for each, and then because
That's all legit.
Yesterday I actually just spent about 30 minutes just watching every different attack in each different stance, and I was like, they've gone to real sword masters, real samurai, like sword historians or whatever, and they've each attack you see which one works. Like all the shield attacks are very sweeping to like knock the shield out the way, and the spear is very much from the side to get around the spear, and from the top and stuff like that. And then the sword one is just very heavy, just to break through the guard kind of stuff. And I'm like,
and you change that on the fly during combat.
bro, wait till you get later in the game. It is crucial that you change styles every 4 seconds because each enemy comes to you. Because in the end, you do more damage with that stance against this person.
For sure.
So if you got a spear stance, you got the wind stance, and you're trying to take on a sword guy, you'll be doing so much less stagger damage and damage. So you got to be thinking about that all the time, and it's just and as you unlock different moves, like there's all these cool like stance upgrades, like down the little tree of your stance, and you unlock new abilities. And there's stuff like, if you hold the button, so you do like a heavy attack, and you hold it, and you'll stay in that stance, and then you let go, and he'll do a really powerful stance
Swing.
out of that. So you really can like, it's so much more complex than I thought. Because in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, it's just mash square, mash triangle.
Yeah, that's what. Well, just watching the first gameplay footage they released for this game, I think it was back in 2018 E3 demo.
Yeah.
And that was the main criticism that this game got, just how
like a
basic
button
the
masher,
combat looked. Because they made it look so easy. The guy who was playing it, just like he was parrying everything so easily. Every time, there was an archer throwing him, just deflected. But when you're in the game, there's so many things to get. It's
so
like
much more complex.
Every fight, every sort of encounter, has its almost like a puzzle element to it. You're sort of like, okay, well, do I want to take out this archer first, like getting close to them so I don't have to... And they do this, there's these audio clues that the game gives you.
I love that.
So you always know what's happening, even when you're not seeing enemies, you hear them and you know what they're about to do.
And even when I miss an audio cue, like the archer shouting duck to his buddies will duck, and then you know that you have to move because his buddies duck down, and you're
That's
like, oh fuck, because
clever.
if you miss the
so
audio,
clever.
or if you don't see the guys duck, or if they don't duck, sometimes they don't, and you hear the guy, he yells like "Dosho," which is like duck or something. They're always shouting "Dosho." You're like, oh fuck, and you do like a roll or you dodge out. Dude, unlocking the like parry arrow stuff is so good.
Oh, I haven't.
It's a bit cheesy. You can just hold it. And
Oh, do you just hold it? I thought
Yeah.
you had to press it.
no,
Okay,
unfortunately.
fair enough.
But did you play Sekiro?
No, I haven't played Sekiro.
What?
Yeah.
Why the fuck?
I played, Dark Souls
No,
and
go play
Bloodborne, but I
Sekiro.
haven't
This
played
is
Sekiro.
Sekiro's combat system.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, not completely. Sekiro's a billion times harder.
Yeah.
But the parry system, perfect. Like parry and then kill. It's fucking awesome. Because in Sekiro, you basically rely on a perfect parry to fill the opponent's stagger meter, and you don't have to get the health all the way down. You just get the stagger full, and then you can kill them.
Oh,
It's
fair
crazy. And then it's like, in this, it's a bit different. If you break the stagger, then you can kill them. But very well crafted game, in my opinion. Obviously, I haven't finished it. There's so much more to go, but already I'm just like,
No, it's hooking me in. It's hooked me in already.
Oh yeah.
It sort of combines a bit of best of a lot of other games.
Yeah, that's what
But the way they put it all together, like they put it all together, it just works so well, man.
Well, that's the thing. When you're playing it, you really suddenly understand how much effort and how polished it is. Because then you do think back, you're like, yeah, they've been making this since probably like 2017, maybe even earlier. And that's a long time.
Their last game, Infamous Second Son, was 2014, and then they did a DLC, First Light.
So they might have even been working on it since then.
So yeah, I'd say late 2015, let's say they started working on it.
Because that's what it feels like. I mean, every little thing. Like, one of my favourite things to do... I might sneeze in a minute, sorry guys. One of my favourite things to do is, like, after you've killed an enemy, sheathe the blade.
Yeah.
And he just goes... And he's like, the blood just flies off the blade. And then he goes... And it just looks so
This
cool.
game actually gives me a lot of Kill Bill vibes. Kill Bill is one of my favourite action movies of all time.
Yes.
I love Quentin Tarantino. And the first time where you encounter... Once you find your sword... and then the game goes back. So it teaches you the basic combat. So it goes
Yeah.
back in time with your uncle.
Yeah.
You're sort of training, right? And then the first enemy comes, and then you just see he gets his sword, and then he takes it out, and this fucking music starts playing, and he's holding it like this, and you see the light
The
reflect
glint on his face.
Yeah. Oh, that was like, oh my god, this is fucking Kill Bill.
Yeah,
This is
literally.
fucking Kill Bill. And Kill Bill, every kill, like, you're like, oh, this feels so good and brutal. Like, you're like, oh, but at the same time, you can't stop watching it.
Well, that's
this
another
game
thing.
gives
That's-
me that vibe.
Yeah, well, it's like that in Tarantino films, isn't it? Like, he's got that oomph to it. Same as this game. When you kill an enemy, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
the blade gets stuck in him, and you gotta yank that
And
shit
you
out.
feel, it makes you fucking feel so badass.
Yeah, well,
You
that's
feel so
a good
badass.
comparison. Tarantino's the same. Kill Bill, Django Unchained.
Yes.
Every gunshot, and when it hits the guy,
There's some weight to it.
it
and
feels
this
like
game
a
has
brick hitting
weight to
someone.
it.
Yeah,
it
it's
has
exactly that. Because when
meaning,
you
it
get
has
hit,
weight.
maybe 4 hits you're dead. You know what I mean? By any enemy, and it gets harder and harder as you go on. I started on hard.
All right.
And in the first hour, I went to moderate.
All right. No, I'm playing
It was
on
too hard, bro. It was, and I'm thinking about switching back now that I'm a bit better. But especially in like, there's like certain Ronin duels you can do around the world. Like you can challenge one-on-one Ronin. They're fucking hard. In hard mode, I could probably not do them. I barely get them done in moderate. But I mean, just especially when like 6-7 dudes gang up on you and they're all crowding you, and then there's 4 archers on a ridge, and there's and you're like, you have to dodge, then you have to kill this guy, then you have to worry about the archers. You don't have time to shoot one of the archers. I love that shit.
But it's like you almost get into this this sort of a dance in a way.
Yeah.
When the game throws a bunch of enemies at you, and you sort of have to analyze and decide which one you want to take out first. Or do I want to get rid of the big guy first, or get rid of the small, just the average sword guys, or fuck, these archers are fucking annoying.
I found the spear guys are the hardest for me.
Spear guys are fucking
really
annoying.
because they can get you from a distance, kind of. They got that longer. The shield guys are also pretty difficult. Later on, shield guys start setting their swords on fire.
Oh,
And then
right.
you can't block those attacks.
Oh, shit.
So it gets more
Okay.
intense. It gets more intense, and yeah, it definitely. And there's another enemy that turns up, and he just throws bombs at you.
No.
You can't even deflect anything. He just starts. So there's the archers, and then this dickhead turns up with bombs. You know the sticky bombs
Yes.
you get.
Yes. I unlocked that last night. I didn't
Yeah.
even use it yet.
Okay, well, it's basically he just starts chucking those at you, and it makes combat so frantic because suddenly you have to get out of that zone. Archers, everyone crowding you in. I think it's just awesome, and it's so that moment when you've killed everyone, and you sheathe your
so-
blade,
yeah.
and there's just bodies everywhere.
You're like, fuck yeah.
You're just like, holy shit,
Bitch.
man. Holy shit. Well, because when I think about, especially in some of the face-offs where it's like, he's like, fight me. He's like, over here. And they all line up. And then it's like, because I don't know, I didn't notice it so much in early game, but kind of like mid game that I'm at, the NPCs do a lot more feints at you.
Yes.
They feint a lot more.
Yes.
And they'll go, ah.
Yeah.
And you go, oh shit, and let go. And then you get all your health taken down to like that much.
Yeah,
If
and
you
you're pretty
miss,
much
if you
fucked.
miss it, you're fucked, man. And literally every time that happens, I'm just like, oh my god, because you want to get it perfect.
Yeah.
And you kill because the max you can get, I think, is like 3 enemies once
Yeah,
you
you can
upgrade
sort
it.
of chain, yeah.
But yeah, when I think about that, I'm like, imagine for people like Jin Sakai, I'm talking real world now, like samurai that would train like that. It's a mindset that this is obviously quite normal, but then for an average person like myself, when I'm thinking about sword combat 1-on-1 with someone,
Fuck.
and you look at their sword and you go, he might chop my fucking arm off or my head off or stab me through the stomach and I might die right here. How do you not go through that? You know what I mean? But it's like these samurai had this internal fortitude that was just like, if I die, it's an honourable death.
Yeah.
And I'm slain by this
Like-
warrior. So there was no fear almost.
Yeah, there was no fear.
Isn't that insane?
It was almost like a.
Well, that's like the
they're
first
honoured
step.
to die.
If you want to
way.
train a warrior, if I wanted to train the best warrior in the world, I would first, before I teach them any skills, instill in them
Mental, yeah.
that mental fortitude of just like, don't be afraid of being beaten, you know? And in Samurai's case, that's death. Like, how
Yeah.
intense is that? Like a one-on-one sword fight. Like,
It's not like, oh well, I lost this one. I'll
Yeah.
better improve and get better for the next fight.
there's a
You
book.
lose,
There's a
you're
book in here.
fucked.
I'm actually gonna grab it. One sec. I'm curious if you've heard of this, Miyamoto Musashi.
Ooh.
Have you heard of this?
Ooh.
Oh shit! I think I just banged everything. So this is about. Yeah, it's a great book. My grandfather got it for me. I haven't read it yet because it looks huge. I think I've got a bit in, but I think it's about. This is
Damn, sold over 120 million copies in Japan.
It's apparently about a real dude. I wonder if it has the little
Famous, yeah, exploring the most famous swordsman.
Yeah, and he killed something like here. What is
Sorry.
that? Is that in this one there? Because there's a thing it says about him. It's something about he kills like 80 samurai in one-on-one combat, or swordsman, and he's like the most famous swordsman. Or
Wasn't
something.
Joe Rogan talking about him not so long ago?
And I actually didn't pay too much attention till my granddad was like, I got you this book. And I was like, I've heard this somewhere. But then, you know, Joe Rogan talks a lot about, this, and then obviously like what is it? Is it The Art of War, Sun Tzu? You know that one? A lot of those books and stuff like that.
But yeah, you have to be have balls of steel to fucking...
Oh, bro. But this story's...
remotely close to someone like this. Which is
this story's crazy because he starts out as a bit of a rogue, bit of a bandit or something. That's what my grandfather's told me. And he gets taken in by a monk, and the monk like ties him up in a tree or something, and like starves him and like breaks him, and and because he's just a rogue and he like terrorizes the village and he's like rude and all this stuff, and the monk totally like changes him, and then he becomes this warrior. Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest swordsman ever, or something like that, and it's just so it's a story though. It's not like not like a biopic or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I've gotten like 50 pages in that shit. It's a huge book. It's so intense. I'm like, fuck. Like it's so big. How many fucking pages is there? It's a big 900 pages.
What? Is that 900?
900
How
pages.
the fuck is that 900? Holy shit.
And the pages are like A4. Well, not A4. They're like a lot smaller, but they're still a lot bigger than a normal book. 960, 970.
Yeah, that's almost 1,000 pages.
And the paper feels all very strange.
It's made out of bamboo.
Yeah, man. It's made out of the flesh of his victims. Anyway, so yeah, just like the especially in like feudal Japan, that kind of era of like Ronin, samurai, like roaming samurai, which I think were called Ronin, right? And just you're walking down the road one day and some guy's like, challenge me, and you're like, due to your code
You have to.
of just being Japanese almost,
Yeah.
you have to fight this guy, and you have to kill him or die. And you might have just been on your way to get a bit of sake from the tavern or something. He's like, dude, I'm gonna chop your head off, and you're like, fuck me, here we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I walked down to Coles to get some fucking, chips and whatever.
The cashier is like, oi, dickhead.
Oi, I'm gonna chop your arm off. I'm like,
You're
huh?
like, oh, fuck, here we go again.
But yeah, I just think that's so insane, and that kind of like is so accentuated in this game because like where I'm at, I've killed like 1,000 people. I'm like, if this is real life, imagine how crazy you'd be if you were actually the Ghost of Tsushima, which is this, Jin Sakai you play as. You've killed 1,000 people. Yeah. More maybe. You've killed like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Mongols, bandits, anyone who's doing anything wrong. You become literally like and you know how your what would you call it? Like your
meter,
myth meter, like your legend meter goes up. There's so many.
Oh, really?
I'm like 9 deep, and that's not even all of them. It's crazy, and as it goes up, it changes.
I'm still so earlier on the game because I just
You've got to be on like the broken samurai.
I'm just getting sidetracked. It's one of those games where it's very hard to sort of, because I'd be like, all right, I'll place a waypoint, follow the wind, or I'm going here, I'm going to discover, and then I'm like, oh, I just heard a bird, and I'll just spin around. Okay, I'm going to follow this motherfucker.
That's the only thing that gets a bit annoying later on, though, is the foxes and birds.
I love it. I love it.
Now you do.
I love it.
But later on, you get a bit annoyed just because they turn up when you're trying to do other shit.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You choose to follow them.
I feel like if you don't follow that bird, you're going to miss out, because this is the thing that the birds can do. This is why it's crucial that you follow the birds. They can take you to like collectible items that you can't find on the map otherwise. Yeah,
but the bird will always like stick around in that area, so you don't.
Yeah, but I might not be back there for a long time, So I have to follow the bird. But you choose to
do it. You can't complain.
My favourite are the Shrines of Honor. You've been to those where you can get up sword kits? like different sword kits?
Um,
Pillars of Honor. Sorry, you've not been to one of those yet.
I don't think so.
Oh, you get different swords, man.
Oh really?
Oh,
I've got a different sword now.
Did you buy it through like a merchant though? Or?
I have no idea.
Well, yeah, you
It's
can
just
pick
sort
up
of-
different sword kits, and they're just like beautiful samurai swords.
really?
Beautiful samurai swords.
I don't know. I fucking love this game, man.
It's
fucking love this game.
so.
It's good. It's a great time to be a gamer right now. Like with everything that's been
That's what I was
coming out
saying.
at
It's
the
like
moment.
I was talking to my mate the other day because I called him up and said, "Mate, you got to get this game," because I've been gaming with him since we were probably 14, 13. Like, you know, we're those kind of like veteran gamers who are always like veterans, where it's like you've been playing for a long time and you're waiting for that game.
Yeah.
Waiting, because we're very open world, very adventure kind of. You know, like Witcher 3 are our favorite games. God of War is one of our favorite games.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of open-ended games where you can do a lot. There's so much to do, right? So this is definitely that kind of game, and I just think it's the culmination of all the best games. It's Shadow of Mordor, Uncharted, it's
Assassin's Creed, but OG Assassin's Creed in many ways. I fell off Assassin's Creed after Assassin's Creed 3. So I played.
Really? You didn't play Black Flag?
No.
Go play Black Flag. You want me to give? I'll give you the disc.
I've got Black
You've got
Flag
Black Flag.
downloaded. Yeah.
Play it, bro.
I only downloaded it.
It might be too
recently.
late though now.
Yeah, I only downloaded it recently.
It's
Black
a
Flag
very
came
good- it's
out
a
when
very good
PS4
game.
came out.
It's a very good game.
But man, I just fucking hated 3. I fucking hated 3. I played I actually platinumed 2, Brotherhood. I played Revelations. I played those games, man.
Yeah.
And back then, you know, it was different. You didn't really have a smartphone back then. I remember I would print off the maps from that game, and I would fucking highlight where all the collectibles, because you would collect
Wow.
feathers and shit. I would cross it on the map and try to collect
That's awesome.
fucking
Man.
everything.
That's old school
And,
gaming. That's old school.
I fucking love that, but now I don't know. I find the new Assassin's Creed games a bit too grindy. I know Black Flag isn't like that, but just the latest Origins and Odyssey and the new one that's Valhalla.
Black Flag is one of the best open world games ever.
Yeah, I should play Black Flag for sure.
You definitely should. I reckon. There's the pirate game. Yeah, you have to play. It's just going to be tricky now because we've been exposed to shit like this now. Ghost of Tsushima has ruined it for everyone else. But Black Flag was definitely my favorite open world because I started with Black Flag.
Oh, really?
I didn't play 1, 2, or 3. I watched 1, 2, and 3. Like when I was on YouTube a lot when I was younger, I would watch playthroughs of those games, but I never played them because I didn't have a PS3 back then.
Yeah.
I got a PS3 a year or 2 before the PlayStation 4 came out.
Oh,
So I didn't have it for a while, and then 4 was where I started. 4 was where I stopped.
oh, really?
Black Flag is the only one I played.
Yeah.
That's the only Assassin's Creed I played. And 1 and 2 look awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know which one 3 is. Is 3 you're the American Indian guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it's turned into an RPG kind of.
Yeah.
Like Valhalla.
Look,
have you seen Valhalla?
Yeah, I have.
Looks cool, but it's what Assassin's Creed is it?
Combat looks shit though. It looks very janky.
I didn't like the way it
Combat
was
looks
so
very janky.
when he throws the axes and shit. It's just automatic.
Yeah.
You know,
I
you're
don't
dashing around and yeah. This is just, what does this remind me of? It's fuck. It's
original Assassin's Creed games, if you haven't played them before, it was very historical, sort of, you know, talking about real characters, real events that happened. You know, I remember in Assassin's Creed 2, you know, Da Vinci was your friend, and he would make all these gadgets for you. And it was just so cool seeing those characters in the game. But I feel like they sort of lost track of that and just went a bit too mythical, too crazy, over the top.
Well, that's very good, fantasy and all that, but the best, I think the video games that most people resonate with and attach to the most are video games that take real events in history.
It has substance to it. It has some weight to it.
Did you play Black Ops 1?
Yes.
Black Ops 1 is probably the example I'd give of a real world event, the Cuban Missile Crisis and the Cold War, and they put their own spin on it. And it's all these real world events that make the world and the game feel so much more real.
See, those sort of games, those sort of stories makes me want to finish and makes me want to see what's happening. But then Black Ops 3, where it was jump...
I don't know who the fuck these people are.
You know, jetpacks and fucking wall riding. I'm like, oh, well, this is
plus, you just didn't feel
it's just
connected
another
to any of the
movie.
characters.
Yeah, it's just
I didn't
another
give a fuck
fucking-
about anybody. Black Ops 1, Woods, you got Hudson, you got Mason, you got, like all those other little characters that were in it, and it's just, it builds you up. And then Black Ops 2 comes out. I didn't play Black Ops 2 much.
Black Ops 2, I enjoyed Black Ops 2.
It took those characters you loved. Yeah, I played it still, but it was like I didn't play the multiplayer as much because I didn't have it. I wanted it really badly, but I didn't get it. But yeah, it's just like, and then they get shit like Infinite Warfare and World War II, and you're like, who are these characters and why should I care about them? You don't. And they force you to like these characters. Have you finished Last of Us?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I have a real problem with Last of Us 2.
Okay.
I think it's the worst game I've ever played.
Oh!
Because...
What?
Actually, just kidding, I've never played it, sorry. I think...
The worst game you've ever watched.
The worst game I've ever watched, bro, because they ruined... They fucked with the story, bro. This is how I would have done it.
But, okay.
No, stop.
Alright,
I'm going here,
Alright, okay, go. Alright. And I'll fucking tell you.
If...
He's gonna... Alright.
Spoiler, you want to kill Joel, you do it later on. You build that shit up.
Why?
You know how they should have done it? They should have made Abby, because they push Abby to be such an important character, and no one gives a fuck about Abby. I didn't give a shit about her. I hated her. Not because she's yoked and everything, but just because she's boring and kind of generic and doesn't have... Like, they could have done something so full on where it's like her and Ellie meet in the game somewhere, and they become like, kind of like, not friends, but they like team up because they're trying to do something together, and they're getting through a place, and then that goes through a whole thing, and you start to know Abby, and you get to know Ellie a bit more through the story, and you get to know them as like this team, but the whole time you don't realise that Abby's on this quest to find Joel, and she doesn't know that Ellie knows Joel. That would have been insane. And then towards the end, Abby finds Joel, kills Joel, and then that creates this whole fucking dilemma with Ellie, where she's like, this bitch killed her. Because the whole Ellie running through just killing everybody kind of didn't make sense to me.
No, I get exactly what you're saying.
It annoyed me also that they just killed Joel like that. It made no sense.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think it had more of a shock value.
Yes.
It sort of reminded me, I don't know if you ever watched The Walking Dead Season 7 when they killed off
No, but I've heard of
the Asian guy when Negan came on board.
Right.
And he just smashed his head, like started smashing
It's
people's head.
It's
a shock.
It's like in Modern
value.
Warfare. Did you play the Modern Warfare campaign?
Yes.
A lot of that stuff is shock value. It doesn't make much sense. It's just there to shock you to get an emotional reaction. And I think a lot of that was in The Last of Us, where it was just like, check this out. Because then a lot of stuff also where it's like, remember when Ellie's like, I'm going to hunt Abby down, and Tommy's like, no, you can't. Like, don't do that. Like, it's not right. And then later on, Tommy's like, I know where she is. We got to go kill her.
But I think Tommy was sort of doing that, just the sort of, hey, look, because Tommy actually leaves before Ellie.
Yeah, he does. You're right.
Right?
Well, that's
he just sort of does that to stop Ellie from doing it. He's like, hey, he's my brother. Like, I'm going to fucking avenge him. And Ellie's a girl, so he was just doing that to protect her. You know?
Careful.
No, I mean, but he was more like being protective. Because when you think about it, Ellie was a fucking little kid when they first
found her,
you know what I mean?
100%. He's like her uncle, yeah. But
and Tommy knows how much Ellie meant to Joel and how much Joel means to Ellie. The game starts off with Joel opening up to Tommy. So Tommy knows exactly what happened and what these guys did for each other.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of like, when, Abby ends up killing Joel, he's like, hey.
I haven't played it, but it looks like a really great game to play through. Very much like The Last of Us 1.
Game.
Just super fun to scavenge through that. I just got really upset with the story because The Last of Us 1 was so good. And the whole reason The Last of Us is good at all is because of Joel. And because of the connection with Ellie and because of that relationship. That made the first game.
Yes.
And then they take that away in the second game.
Yeah. No,
and then you have no reason to really care about anything. They killed Joel. What the fuck now? And they bring him back through cutscenes and stuff, which is cool. But it's like they really should have left that till later and made you go through that story with something to fight for. Maybe you're going with Joel. You're doing something, I don't know, like maybe Joel's gone off to find something and Ellie's tracking Joel, and then they find... and because Abby's tracking Joel as well, they meet up somehow, but they don't really know what they're doing, and Ellie doesn't really explain what she's doing, so Abby just tags on with her, and then it'd be more emotionally like intense than just they fucking kill it. Because, dude, I watched it on YouTube. I didn't play it, and when they killed Joel, I got angry. I was like, why?
Did you know that Joel was going to die before you went into it? Or
No.
So you found that as you were watching it. Okay,
which
fair
really
enough.
fucking annoyed me.
Because a lot of people just
I did
judge this
hear
game
the
based on.
spoilers.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you did know about it before.
Not that Joel died. I'd
Okay.
heard some stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't want to say what I heard because it'll trigger people and it's very insensitive.
Oh,
the
about
stuff people were
having
saying.
trans characters and everything.
And the stuff people were saying about that was really full on. But
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a brilliant game, but at this moment wish I didn't see it so I could just remember The Last of Us 1 for what it was, because that was the greatest game at the time.
No, I know, I get exactly what you're saying. I agree with you in some points. Like, they could have done the story a bit differently, but
But who cares I think that's how they did it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, the developers don't owe us anything.
No.
It's the story they want to tell,
Yeah.
right? So it's up to you whether you like it or you don't, or whether you choose to consume it or not, right?
We
Which
just
is
love,
fair enough,
we just
right?
love Joel so much.
We do
and
love Joel so
why?
much, and he means so much
He
to
was
us.
us,
That's why,
we were Joel, and
and that's why people fucking sending death threats to all the voice actors.
That's
which is
ridiculous.
Fucked. That's
That's
fucked.
ridiculous.
That is very fucked. So we don't encourage anyone
no, you're a
to
moron
do that.
if you do that.
Yeah, you're a fucking cockhead.
You know what did come out of it though is I think Metacritic, where they leave their reviews.
Yeah, I know.
They've put a 36-hour window on it now because like
'Cause
someone
people
said,
just
they were like,
fucking-
guys, this is like a 20+ hour game, and people were posting reviews like minutes after the game had come out, being like, this game's shit.
Even
It's
longer. I
wrong."
think my playthrough took 38 hours or something.
It's a long game. Yeah, it's a
It's
long
like,
game. And
especially
people
if
were
you
posting it too
explore.
early, saying, this is garbage. And then they're like, have
just
you
based
played
on
it?
the leaks.
Have you played the game? You know what I mean? So I reckon that's really good.
I think what would have
Give
been
people time to play the game. They have to play the game.
I think what would have been a bit better, like, let's say you want to keep that shock value at the beginning of the game, which is fine, right? But before it even gets to Joel, you actually play as Abby, right? And when Joel saves you, you're playing as Abby. So it was sort of like obvious because they set up Abby with Owen and they find a town that Joel and everything is in.
the way
So-
they're talking,
and she's like, no, I'm going to do this tonight. I'm going in there. So I'm like, okay, well, she's in it to kill someone and something's going to happen to the main characters. Otherwise, why the fuck are we playing as well? Why are we seeing her? I think if they skip that part and let's say they didn't show us that part and it was just, I don't know, like you said, maybe if they sort of, let's say Joel still saved her, but then it came after where, you play as Ellie Seattle day 1 to 3, you see her story and you're trying to go after these people. It's almost like a revenge story. In a way, again, very similar to Kill Bill, she gets fucked up at her wedding and then you've got these 5 characters. You're like, all right, I'm going to fucking kill every single one of them and then I'm going to get to the main sort of baddie
how's
at the
that
end.
so
right?
good then?
No, but what I mean is, if let's say the thing happens and then you play as Ellie, you're like fuck, because the way they set up that scene, you fucking hate these people.
Then why do they make you play as Abby? Because they want you to like Abby, and it makes me furious.
because Joel is not a good person either. Joel wasn't a nice person.
No one is, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you see how when you just see Abby and her group doing all this shit, you're like, fuck these guys. They're bad.
Okay, before
but
you go
if you
on,
look
because I
at
know
them
what you're
from
going to
their
say.
end,
No, before you go
can
on,
say the same
they
thing about...
force that point, cunt. They force that, trying to make you like Abby because they want fucking Abby and that fucking little kid to be the next characters for The Last of Us 3. They push it, make you like Abby, and they make Ellie out as this fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Ellie's out there killing and shit and doing all this psycho shit. Abby's in the place playing with the dog. Oh, here's the dog. You know, when that moment when she plays the dog, you're like, what the fuck is this? And then Ellie slitting throats, killing. She kills hundreds of people. And Abby's out there doing God's work. You know what I mean?
No,
I'm like, it makes me so furious. It would be the best game ever if Abby was just fucking, she killed Joel and then fuck her off. And then Ellie kills her at the end. Yes.
Yeah.
Why do they have to make Abby this main character? You can't make a character... one of your main characters that killed off the greatest character of all time. Oh, it just doesn't...
I don't know.
This is my opinion.
I don't know.
But it makes me so furious that they force you to play as Abby and they force all these things down your throat to make you enjoy her as a character and like her. And then they make Ellie out to be this nutso absorbed by hatred and...
But I think what that proves as a point is,
I
hey,
understand.
this world is fucked, right?
I understand.
And unless you actually sit down and try to see from the other sort of group's perspective, that group is always going to see you as the bad
Yes.
And you're always gonna see them as the bad people,
I'm
right?
just biased because I like Joel.
Look,
so
I
much.
like Joel. I played through Last of Us, the first one, over 5 times. I
Yeah, me
played it,
too.
I think, about 3 times on my own, and then I played it once with my sister and once with
Yeah.
my mum, because I'm like, oh my god, this
Well,
story is
I
amazing.
played it twice
I
on
want you guys to
PS3.
see it.
And then 3 times on PS4.
Yeah, I played it once on PS4, and then I think like 4 times on PS3.
Yeah, it was the greatest fucking
Like, I
game
fucking
ever.
love that game. Explored every single corner of it. But, man, it's a fucked up world. Like, when you think about it,
understand.
how long this has been going on for, because the events of the first game, when Joel's daughter first dies, Sarah, and then I think, 20 or 25 years passes
20,
after that.
yeah, 20.
And then you go through that journey with Ellie. Dude, Joel killed the doctor that was going to save humanity, and it's not like, oh, can we save humanity or not? They had the cure, so it wasn't like, it's a 50-50. It's been sort of like, they tell you in the game, hey, this is it, we found the cure, but Joel was like, nah, she reminds me of my daughter. So Joel was being selfish, and he didn't care when he killed that doctor.
Well,
and that doctor was
why-
Abby's dad.
That's why I was happy if they would have left it at the first one, though, because you do leave off going, Joel has lied to Ellie and has jeopardized humanity for his own selfish reasons. Leave it there. Joel's an asshole. Great, but I still love him. And then you gotta fucking do what you did, and you gotta make me like Abby, and he killed her father. I'd kill him too. And I'd kill Abby.
Yeah.
Fuck Abby.
Yeah, I know.
I hate Abby so
would
much.
too. Okay, but you gotta understand. I think the way they sort of did this story. So Ellie and Abby, they're sort of in this. They're parallel to one another, right? But they're just at different stages of.
Abby's completed her journey. Ellie started her journey.
Well, Abby's already like, all right, someone killed my dad. It's been 5 years. I've been fucking working out, getting buff as fuck. Whoever this guy is, I'm gonna fuck him up. So she dedicated her life. By the way, I don't know what that is, but is that still recording? What's that?
I think it is still recording.
We good?
I think
Yeah?
so. I
Alright.
hope so.
So what I was
Shit,
what
I
I
hope
was
that
trying to
doesn't-
say is,
Their
Ellie
stories are
has been
parallel,
waiting for this moment, right? And she gets her revenge. And now it's I don't know if you've been listening to the soundtrack, but it's this cycle of violence. So she's she had her dad killed because Joel was being selfish. So to her, what the fuck? My dad was gonna save humanity, and you fucking
Joel
and
is
just
completely
fucking
evil
walked
here,
in with a
yeah.
shotgun and fucking killed all the doctors, right? And the game made you kill the doctor. Like, you couldn't not kill him. You had to kill him. You choose the other sort of
but
the
doctor
other
over Ellie, you
nurses
have
in the
to,
room. The
yeah.
doctor you have to kill, but the nurses you can choose to leave. I fucking killed everyone in that room because I'm like, fuck you, Ellie is my fucking
Well, then
daughter.
that makes sense. It makes you make that choice. It gives you the incentive to make that choice, and then here's the
Yeah.
repercussions later.
But the
on.
thing is, like, you kill so many enemies in the game, but you don't ever stop to think, I wonder if these people had any family or...
But like you say, the world's fucked up. You don't have time.
Yeah, you don't have time. But the thing is, there is shit happening behind the scenes where you don't understand. Like, that doctor was a father to someone. You know what I mean? And you've pretty much fucked her life up. It's the same thing when Joel's daughter died. So Joel was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
That ruined Joel. And you got to think about this also. You know how you said Ellie was fucked at the end and you sort of felt a bit disconnected? I felt that too. But when you think about it, Ellie was like 13 years old in the first game, man.
Yeah.
So imagine, and she doesn't know what life was like before that. Because she was 13 and it was 25 years after the outbreak. So she's born into this.
Yeah.
She lost her fucking best friends when she was like fucking 9 years old. Yeah. So she lost, there's a very powerful scene in the first game where Ellie runs away and you sort of try to find her and they've got this great moment where Ellie says...
In that house.
Yeah, in that house. She's like, everyone fucking left except for you.
Except for you. Dude, that made me cry when that happened. Because she was so serious and Joel didn't know what to say. Because she was like, everyone's either left me or died.
Yeah.
Everyone except you.
Yeah.
And she pushes him and Joel's just like...
And then Joel's like, yeah, that's right, you're not my daughter.
Oh, that was rough, eh?
And I was just like, holy fuck. You can't...
That does make sense then why Ellie was so fueled, because Joel was all she had. But then also it's like, Why is Abby in the game? I hate Abby.
Yeah, I know, but that was
been-
that was Abby's quest to get
Fuck
revenge.
Abby off. It could have been one of those like
What?
What is it? The PFL? Or who are they? The fucking
the Fireflies.
No, whoever those gangs are, like the
WLF?
Sephites, or what is it? The
The
Seraphites.
Yeah,
and then the other one.
yeah.
Why couldn't one of those groups like fucking torture Joel and then killed him, and then Ellie just goes and the game is all about killing and wiping
But then
out
it would
that
have been the
entire
same
group.
thing. It would have been the same thing. You
Yeah,
would have
but
been
then
like,
you don't play as those fucks. Oh, I hate the fact
Yeah,
that
but-
you have to play as her.
yeah. But the thing is, if they don't make you play as that, then it's just another bad guy. Hey, go and kill the bad guy. I think them making you play as the other character makes you sort of.
It didn't though, bro. Like you can do that in.
But
ways,
you haven't played
but-
it.
Dude, but I've watched it.
Dude,
and
you
it's-
watching it is not
I
the same. Trust me.
understand, mate,
when
but-
you're playing as a character and you're exploring the world and you find these sort of, these small touches in every corner of the world where you like, I don't know. When I was playing it, like I fucking hated Abby at first, and then the first time they made me play as her, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why am I playing as this bitch? But then, because the game sort of goes back in time, Seattle day
Yes,
1
yeah.
to 3, right? And then you sort of relive those moments again, and you see these characters that you killed as Ellie, and you're like, holy shit, this chick that I just killed as Ellie, man, she wasn't even a bad person. She was just helping.
But that's why I hate. They make Ellie out to be this terrible person, and they make fucking Abby out to be this great person.
But no. They don't make Abby as a great person. They don't make Ellie as a great person. It just shows you this world is fucked.
We know that. We
There's
played
no
the first
hope.
game.
There's no hope.
I just fucking.
There's no hope at all.
I'm furious. Someone's
There's
at the door.
There's no hope at all. Honey's going crazy.
Honey's losing it. Look at her.
Hello? She's like, I'm gonna.
She's quite enough. But yeah, I don't know. It's intense
I don't know,
how
I
invested
fucking
into
love
video
it.
games you can get. Hey,
I
like we're talking about like it's a
fucking
real
love
thing.
Yeah, just made up characters.
But it's true. That's why I love video games. And like you said earlier, it's a great time to be a gamer because I feel like we've been waiting a long time. We've been getting a lot of mediocre games. A lot of the, like you said, Assassin's Creed games that have come out recently, they're very different. And they're not all shit, but it's like, we haven't
not
got
the
any
same.
games lately, like Far Cry 5 and stuff. Like games like that where it's like, they're like mid-tier. Nothing's like, oh, fuck, look at this. Last of Us came out. Great game. Ghost of Tsushima just came out. Fucking amazing. What else came out? Doom Eternal came out. Top tier game. If I'm gonna make my games of the year this year, it's gonna be actually I think Doom Eternal came out last year, didn't it?
I think so too.
Yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima would have to be for this year. Last of Us is gonna give it a good contender, I reckon. Like,
For
'cause
me,
people are gonna...
if Ghost of Tsushima goes the way it's going, right now,
It does.
I think Ghost of Tsushima will be my game of the year because it's more of a game, but in terms of the impact, the story, and just like Last of Us is not a game where you feel good about playing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like
Ghost
a-
of Tsushima, the world they created, I just want to be in that world. Whereas Last of Us,
It's a story.
like-
It's a story you're playing.
like everything has weight to it. Every time you kill an enemy, there's weight to it.
When you kill the dogs, bro.
Yeah, when you kill dogs, man.
Why do they have to make you do that?
to
That's
be
another
honest-
thing. Did you watch the Angry Joe review of The Last of Us?
Yeah.
How funny was the part where he shows the pit of Abby patting the dog and then Ellie killing the dog and then they show it again. It's like, oh, throw the ball. And then Ellie just like massacring dogs and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And that's like a point to what I was saying is like, that's the massive difference. But I guess him, like me, we were very biased. Super biased towards Joel.
Okay, but the thing is, all right, if they don't show you that, then it's just everyone is just
nothing.
another enemy,
Yes,
right? It's
you're
just
right.
another NPC you just kill.
They were building up a story behind your enemy that you perceived as the enemy, and then you went, "Oh, I see the reason why."
Well, you go, oh, I can see how someone else could see me as the bad person as well.
Well, you see,
because I've done
like you
fucked
say,
up
you
shit
see
too.
the
I killed a
reason-
lot of people.
Yeah, you see the reason why she's done what she's done to Joel, and because if you didn't have a connection to Joel, you'd be like, "Yeah, fuck him. He killed her dad."
Or if you were playing as Abby from the beginning, right? Let's say Abby was the main character and your dad gets killed off and your revenge story is to find Joel, right? Instead of the other way around. Instead of playing as Ellie trying to find Abby. Imagine you're playing as Abby, you know, you never met Joel and whatever. When you find him, you'll be like, yeah, fuck him up. because to you he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
So that's why I liked how this game sort of helps you almost step back and not just be, all right, I'm with this group and all these guys are the best, you know, whether it's Tommy and Jesse and all these other characters, and then this group of people are bad. It sort of helps you step back. Hey man, like they're actually just this two parts of the same coin.
It's a pretty visceral game, though.
You know, if you look at from their point of view, they're right.
Yeah, of course.
If you look at from their point of view, they're right.
Yeah, it's a fucking moral,
So it's sort of-
moral conundrum, the whole game.
I mean, look, I like games that sort of
Push it,
goes
yeah.
into uncomfortable territories.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I didn't want Joel to die. I would have loved, like, especially when the game first starts and you play as Joel and you're just riding your horse. Dude, I actually got very emotional. I'm like, holy shit,
We're
because
back
it
here
took
with
me
Joel.
went back to the first
2012,
time I
bro.
fucking played that game, man.
2012. when it
Like,
came
I
out.
remember fucking, you know, I was fucking just out of high school, just in my room, just playing through that game. And yeah, they killed him off and I was fucking devastated. But at the same time, I like when... It could be anything. It's not just games. It's movies as well, when art pushes forward so much where it makes you question your characters.
And I think it's more intense with games because
you
gamers
control it.
have the idea that they think that they have some claim to what's going on because they interact with this world. In a movie, you're not going to be like, they shouldn't have done that. You're like, that's how it happened.
Yeah, in
That's
a
just how it's
movie,
done.
you're just watching other characters do their thing. Whereas in a game,
You are
you're
that
making
character.
those characters do those actions.
Yeah, you
So
are
you
that.
feel a lot more connected. You feel that bond. You're like, no, this character is me. You know,
Yeah.
you invest. All right, I'm gonna play stealthy. I'm gonna choose not to do this. I'm gonna play it this way because that's the
You
style
build
that
a
you're.
personal personality with this character. And
That's why
how
when they kill Joel off, you're like,
you remember, you suddenly
What
flash
the
back to
hell?
everything. You're like, what?
yeah,
Like,
like
what
all
have they
those
done?
great moments that you had with Joel in the first game, it's just taken away from you, just like that. But then again, they throw. I don't know, man. It's just.
Well, that's the
I
thing.
fucking love.
That's like
I
the thing with Ghost of
fucking love-
Tsushima. I've noticed it's a very good game, but a lot of the story and characters haven't exactly captured me in the way that a Last of Us game has.
No,
you know,
no.
where it's like, oh, if this person dies, I guess, like I guess if his uncle dies, I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty rough. But then like a lot of the other characters, I'm kind of like. You know, they're good. They're very good characters, and I enjoy playing around with them. But I'm like, yeah, there's just a difference between like investing a game into storytelling, and then having a game like Ghost of Tsushima where it's like
More gameplay.
basically well-rounded as a game can be. You know, so
Look, don't get me wrong. Ghost of Tsushima has some dark moments too. I've done a side mission yesterday. This farmer was like, "Oh, my family is being attacked. Can you save them?" And I fucking went
They're
over
always
there,
dead, aren't
killed
they?
all the guys, and they were fucking dead. His son and his wife was dead in the river.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just went back to him like, yeah, sorry, your family didn't make
that's
it.
all the side
like,
quests.
oh.
Everyone's always dead. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go save
okay.
people. That's what I've noticed more than anything is just like. They don't go, you can save everybody. They go, no, this person's dead. And their family's dead. Their family is... anytime anyone asks you to find someone, they're usually always dead or they end up dying. It's intense. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I want to save people.
But the weight that Naughty Dog has put, like, the way they sort of put, I don't know how to word it, but they put weight into every action that you do.
Yeah.
You know, you feel bad. Every time you kill a dog, you're like, fuck, I have to, but I didn't want to, but I sort of have to.
That's such a difference in Ghost of Tsushima. The war dogs from the Mongol counts. I
haven't come
love
across
killing
the
them.
dogs yet.
I
I loved killing dogs in last dude, because they're so fucking annoying. Every time I saw that,
Even when they whine when you kill them,
Huh?
they go.
Oh, I
when
didn't
you
give a
stab
fuck.
'em.
I'm like, cry, bitch. No, dude, they're so fucking annoying. You have no idea. Because even when you're fucking in cover, they sniff
They
you out.
sniff you out, eh?
I'm like, oh yeah, there's a dog. Fucking pipe bomb.
Splattered it to bits.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Or
you're
fucking
you're a
Molotov.
sick fuck. You
Dude,
deserve
I
to
just.
die.
Or I throw a bottle first, make all the enemies go into the same spot, and a fucking Molotov there.
That was one of my favourite things in The Last of Us 1 where you could throw a Molotov in a group of clickers and all the clickers would run to it
Yeah.
and just burn off.
Yeah.
You're like,
So
a bit of shitty design there. You could just clear out a room of clickers with one Molotov.
No, fucking.
love
I
that.
don't know. I love Last of Us. Last of Us is still my game of the year at the moment, but I'm only just beginning.
Yeah.
And the way like it's looking. I feel like
Wait, did we get
Ghost
Game
of
of the Year?
Tsushima.
When does the Game of the Year actually happen?
End
Each
of the
year?
year,
Like-
like December or November. There's like a cutoff date.
What was last year?
Last year was Sekiro.
Fuck, really?
Uh-huh.
What about Doom?
No, it was. I don't think Doom actually made it for the.
That's what I'm saying. Is it
Yeah,
like,
I
does
think
Doom come
Doom
to
gets
this year?
counted for this year. Yeah.
Oh, Doom's a good contender for anything, man.
Yeah. I think Cyberpunk actually misses it.
Well, that's
for
what I
this
was
year.
curious about as well, because Cyberpunk's what, is it September? November, what is it?
November, I think.
The 9th, right?
I think
It's
so.
like it's like a month or two away.
Yeah.
Dude, that's going to consume my life more.
Yeah.
I don't know how
That
pumped you
game's
are for
gonna-
that. But I'm all into
I'm
that
pumped.
Blade Runner sci-fi shit.
I'm just fucking man, the games that have been coming out lately, the world building, like even in Last of Us, it's not an open world game, but just exploring, like they make everything so realistic now.
Well,
Where
yeah, did you play...
everything it feels lived on.
Did you play Uncharted 4, like Thief's End? Yeah. Fuck me, right? Like, amazing. Very similar to Last of Us, where their worlds are just...
Oh, but Last of Us
Incredible.
is another level, man.
Yeah, but the way they build it, it's like, it's so much more real than other games. Like, you look at that wall.
Yeah, the world
That's a
design,
building.
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's, like, it feels more oomphy. And, like, also, I don't know, in a way where... I don't know. It's like you can't interact with stuff as much. It makes it more real. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, no, I know what you're
mean,
saying.
But it's like everything is just there, and then you're kind of wandering around this world. Whereas like Ghost of Tsushima, you can kind of interact with a lot of things. Like, you know, you can fight. I don't know how it's like The Last of Us and Uncharted. The linear way the game set out in these. They built these worlds to be. I don't know how to explain it, man. It's fucking difficult. But
Like the game opens up, but then it's sort of.
Did you
funnels
play
into the
Uncharted 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I played all of them.
I think
Uncharted 2 is.
it'll
my
always
favorite.
be yes. Uncharted 2. Oh, no, you're right. Where
I think I finished that game 7 times.
I've done it quite a few too. Uncharted 3 is great, I think, because just how like big it is. Because they got big longer and longer. The first one, I was like, shit, this is long. And the first one's always going to be a great one because it's the first and it was awesome. But then the second one,
Oh, second one was fucking
Oh my
epic, man.
God,
the level
bro.
design, that train level, I don't know. That game was, the story was
and I
amazing.
just fucking love Chloe, bro. She's such a sexy bitch. She's your kind of girl, bro. Nice
Chloe.
dark skinned girl.
Chloe.
She's so hot.
Chloe.
She's she's fit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, let's talk about
And
girls for a sec. Let's talk about hottest video game girls ever.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I haven't played enough video games. I think.
Kratos.
He's a dude, bro.
Yeah, I know. He's fucking built.
Jesus, if you could go into like best video game characters ever, that would take you forever. I think Kratos would be in there for sure.
Dude,
My
you know
God.
what we should do? There's a podcast that I listen to, and every week they open up with, like, every person brings out a random game character, and they're like, if they were to fight, who would win? They'll have like a 5-minute conversation about it.
Who do you think would win in a fist fight? Kim Jong-un or Donald Trump? In a fist fight. Bare knuckle.
Only fist?
And dirty tactics like ball grab and air pulling.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un's got no hair though. He wouldn't...
Yeah, but Donald Trump's hair will just fucking... It just
Come
sits
off.
there with the glue anyways. I'll just grab it and it'll just come off. It's not even fucking real hair.
That'd be so fun to watch a death match between the leaders of the world. Who's our Prime Minister now? Scott Morrison. Is that who he's... That who we got right now?
Yeah.
I wonder who he could fight. Some Chinese minister or something.
Scott's pretty...
He's a fucking
Yeah.
interesting guy.
Yeah, very.
I don't want to say anything too crazy
Very
here, but
interesting.
we've had a long line of interesting politicians,
Mm.
and just anybody in politics at the moment is quite crazy. Like,
Ah.
I don't know if we're allowed to.
I fucking hate politics.
Yeah,
they're all fucking...
That's why all these
all
old
the
crazy
same
people
shit.
get into it, because no one normal like you and I want to do that shit.
Mm.
It just doesn't look fun. It doesn't look like you can do anything, make any change. It doesn't look like you keep your soul. It looks like the devil comes in as soon as you get into office and he goes, all right, yank, takes
I'll
your
give you
heart,
some
your
money.
soul. Here's your money for the rest of your life. Because I was talking to my mate and he reminded me again that even after you finish your prime minister
You
stint,
still get a shit ton of money.
you get 200 grand a year for just sitting around jerking off.
Yep.
So that is why I think becoming prime minister or becoming president is like, it's a goal to do that,
business.
and then after that, who gives a fuck? It's like, as soon as I become prime minister or president, I've made it. I have a bank check for the rest of my life. It's not like I need to get in there to make change. I think Obama did all right, but it's like at the same time, it's like I think all of them get in there to just make change. To just make money. It's like they're not there to kind of like do anything.
They're all in it to make money.
I'm president, I just got to fuck around for 4 years and then I can go home and I can play golf the rest of my life, you know? It's like,
they're all in it to make money. It's all about... Why the fuck Donald Trump decided to fucking...
yeah,
you know what I mean? Why the fuck would he?
I think it was just to prove everyone
his
that...
ego. He's like, I can fucking do this. Now Kanye West wants to fucking... Oh, what a fucking
I
world
hope
we're
The
living
Rock
in.
gets it. He's been talking.
Yeah.
He'd be great.
Joe Rogan would be my fucking...
I don't know, bro. He wouldn't want to though, would he?
Nah, he wouldn't want to.
He wouldn't want to.
Nah, he wouldn't. But...
Joey Diaz.
Oh, dude. Did you hear about him talking about, you know how they test you for coronavirus? They put the thing up your nose and shit.
What did he say?
He's like, don't put that shit in there. He goes, I've got fucking pubic hair in there. He goes, there's cocaine in there, leftover cocaine. He's like,
you don't know what you're gonna get out of there,
he goes, the shit that they find in there, he goes, I'm not fucking letting them do a test. He goes, they might find coronavirus, but he goes, they're gonna find a shit ton of other stuff in there too.
Dude, his podcast with Joe Rogan are my favorite podcasts. Like back in like a couple of years ago, he just used to do the funniest ones, and his stories about robbing people and doing all that stuff. Just the stories he'd come out with, I'm just like, he is the best storyteller comedian.
Yeah.
Like just about his old life as a bit of a criminal. Like he's the funniest.
One of the best things is when he tells Joe Rogan off for giving him like shit weed. He's like, what's this Sasquatch bullshit? Joe's like, what the fuck? He's like, dude, he goes, if you're gonna make me drive up here for 40 minutes, he goes, you better fucking give me some good weed. Joe's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is literally the best weed money can get.
Have you seen Ping Trip?
No. I don't even know what that is.
It's this guy that splices up Joe Rogan's podcast and, okay.
Oh yeah.
You know,
He does the cuts, super cuts, yes.
And he's like, Joe Rogan falls in love with this person, or Joe Rogan murders this person, or Joe Rogan intimidates Kyle Dunnigan, or like, Joe Rogan eats Theo Von.
I love those videos.
Or Joey Diaz has a stroke or something, and he just crops them into like a 4-minute video. Dude, I've never laughed so hard. I think that's literally the name of the challenge, is Ping Trip, right?
I think so, yeah.
Ping Trip. He's like,
he just does. If you just go on YouTube and type in Joe Rogan Supercut, and
you have to kind of know the Joe Rogan podcast though, because that's why it's so funny to you and me. Because like we've listened to these actual ones, and then he splices them up and makes them so ridiculously funny. I love that shit. I watch that all the time whenever I'm just bored.
Yeah, me
like
too.
A Ping Trip video. Because he does them pretty frequently, actually.
Yeah, he does.
Like he just did one this morning, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one came out with Nikki Glaser. All the ones with Joe and Nikki Glaser, he's always like in love with her or something.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, like, and the thing is, like, he actually said those shit in that episode. Like, it's not parts from different episodes. I like when he starts talking about like chimps and shit, and then he starts making noises, and you just see
he's like yelling at the camera.
You just see like a fucking Brendan or Joey.
Like...
they're just like, he's like, he's like going crazy.
My favorite's the Alex Jones Eddie Bravo one that he did. He did of like it was like Alex Jones gets super high with Eddie Bravo and Joe Rogan, and he's like, okay. I'm kind of retarded. Yeah. I'm kind of retarded. And Joe and Eddie like, and they're like got the
no, it's the best.
And he just finds like the generic frame when Eddie's like, and he.
No, I like that one because like Joe Rogan's like, oh, it's cigar, it's not weed. You want some? Yeah. And they're all sort of like looking, and then
his head turns into a rocket and goes into space, and it's like the Interstellar moment where he's going through the black hole. He's like, and he's like falling down the black hole, and then suddenly he's back, and he's just like.
I don't know how many times I actually listened to that episode with Alex Jones and Eddie Bravo. When Eddie Bravo walks, he's like, choke me out. He's like, I'm not kidding, choke me out. I'm not fucking scared.
I know. He's like, yeah, punch me. Just punch yourself. Joe's like, guys, don't do that. And he's like, yeah, it won't hurt. Just a little bit. And Eddie's like, he's like, guys, come on, please don't. You'll get crazy. And Eddie, he's like, yeah, there's no legal stuff in it. Just do it. Choke me out. And he's like,
because he was wearing a NASA shirt. and you know Eddie
Eddie
Bravo
was like,
is
"What
all
the fuck,
about
dude?"
flat Earth and NASA is bullshit and fucking fun times. But yeah, fucking good time to be a gamer right now, man. Fucking so many good games at the moment.
Especially,
Fucking
you know,
good
if
shit.
Corona hits again.
Yeah,
We just
well, at least
stay
we just
here
stay
and
home.
play video games, huh?
But I'm fucking looking forward to PS5 and what these developers are going to be able to
You're
achieve.
going to get one? Well, that's the thing. It's like, I am keen for PS5, but I just can't afford to fork out $800 on a console.
It'd be
That's
interesting
fucking
to see how
ridiculous.
much it comes out.
They said they've upped the amount
Production.
of pre-order.
Yeah,
pre-order
from like
production.
5-6 million
To a
to
lot.
almost 9-10 million.
I
They
think
pretty
it's
much
10
doubled
million,
it. Yeah.
Which is awesome because then that's quite a lot. Because PS4 is currently the highest selling console, right? What was it? Something ridiculous.
I
you
think
know?
it's like close to 120 million right now.
Yeah, because PS4 is the best selling console ever, isn't it?
No, it's not.
No.
It's not the best selling console ever.
What is?
I think it's like the second or third.
I thought the
PS2
PS4 was the highest selling console of all time.
No, PS2.
I'm
I'm
look
pretty
this
sure.
up because I'm gonna look this up quickly then because I totally thought the PS4 was the highest.
No.
You think it's the PS2?
Well, PS2 is higher. PS2 is like 150 million, I think.
What?
Yeah. And I think
I reckon the PS5 will go. It depends though if they depending on price and production because the PS4 was cheaper than the Xbox One. Remember?
Yeah, it was,
That's why it did so well.
like $50 cheaper. It didn't require the camera, and it didn't have any restrictions on having to check online.
You're right. 155 million units
Yeah,
worldwide.
boy.
The PS2.
Yeah, boy.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah. And I think PS4's last numbers were like 110 or 115 they released.
Damn, the PS2. I love the PS2.
But PS2 did really well because it was one of the first DVD players. And back then, DVD players were very expensive. So people were buying PS2s to use it as a DVD
so
player.
dope.
Because it was cheaper to buy a PS2 than to get a box that only played DVD. So at least this way you can play your games and, And then PS3 introduced Blu-ray. So PS3 did okay. Not as good as the PS2, obviously, but PS3 pushed a lot of Blu-ray drives.
I don't know how legit this is. I'm on Wikipedia, but apparently the second highest at 154 million is the Nintendo DS. That makes sense, doesn't it? That sounds about right. The DS is a fucking hit, bro. When that came out and you got the little...
Everyone had fucking DS, man.
That shit was good and you get the game sticking in the back.
DS, yeah.
Oh, no,
But there are more gamers now than there were before.
Gamers? Yeah, for sure. I mean...
Because, we grew up... my parents didn't play games that often. But now, if I'm going to be a parent, I'm going to be a fucking gamer. And then I'm probably going to have my kids be gamers.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when you and I mean, you're a bit older than me, but, when I was a kid, it was shit like... Yeah. I mean, I didn't play, Xbox titles like Spyro and shit like that. And... I don't know if Spyro was the Xbox title, but all my friends on Xbox had Spyro. But I played stuff like, Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank. Crash Bandicoot, all my other friends said I didn't have Crash Bandicoot, but it's games like that. That's not a very intense game. That's a fun little game. If we have kids, imagine what the fuck they're going to be playing, bro.
They're gonna play
what are you going to get them?
The new
Call of
Ratchet
Duty
and Clank.
50
No,
billion.
the new Ratchet and Clank. The new fucking...
Dude, I can't wait for that to come out. I might buy a PS4 just so I can get Ratchet and Clank 2, whatever it's going to be, you know? Because I was the biggest, still am, but it's hard to go back and play it. Ratchet and Clank fanboy 1, 2, 3, 4 even, all amazing. And
Or even the PSP or Size Matters. That was a fucking good game.
yeah, see, I never went past 4, but because I didn't want to ruin it for me. But you say it's good, so I'm down with that. But
Very good.
yeah, dude, the PS5 is going to be fun to see. After you said that shit about Spider-Man with the PS5 engine, I just it excites me to know what could be done, and that's what makes me a bit sad that it's Ghost of Tsushima, Doom, and stuff. Games like that have just missed the next generation. But I wonder if they can hop on, because Cyberpunk's gonna release before, but then they said you're gonna be able to have it for the PS5.
Yeah, you can upgrade to the next gen version.
Yeah,
pretty much for free.
So, which is gonna be curious, but it is sad that some games missed it. But then it's
But no, it's not sad, because if Ghost was to come out on PS5, one, it wasn't going to be played by a lot of people because the amount of consoles that were going to be out there. Right now,
not be
PS4's on million units
It's
sold
actually
worldwide.
smart, yeah.
PS5, they're only making 10 million in the first fiscal year. So even if they sell all 10 million, and let's say fucking buying rate is, quarter of the people who buy a PS5 buys Ghost of Tsushima, the numbers would have been a lot lower.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
So at least this way it gets exposed to more people. So then when they make the next one on PS5, there's going to be more eyes on it. And it's going to be
like I was saying to you yesterday, literally when I typed into the search engine, I literally just typed in Mongol. I was going to type in Mongol invasion of Japan. I typed in Mongol and said invasion of Japan, invasion of Tsushima. And it's like everyone's been looking at it. I knew that this game would come out and people would just like want to learn the history about.
Yeah, I really want to dive into it.
It's crazy because when the reality of Tsushima is the Mongols fucking took it pretty easy. They fucked them up. And then that was their base. They invaded Japan, but Japan, where the Mongols attacked, they had these seawalls. So there was like no kind of like proper. Well, that's at least what they were saying on there was like there were these seawalls, so the archers were on top, and they could really fuck them up from the water. And then, there was like 2 invasions, one in 1254, one in 1281, and both failed. And at that time, in the 1254, Kublai Khan had just conquered like all of China or something.
Oh, really?
So, because Genghis Khan, obviously that was his goal, to conquer all of China. And he just done that. So he like fucking conquered everywhere. It was finally, they'd have the whole whatever. And Japan was like, he wanted Japan next, but they could never get Japan. So, yeah. 2 invasions and no Japan.
No, I really want to look at it. I don't know much about the history. Like
me neither, not at all.
I know I must have read something like years ago. I remember like sort of reading about, Genghis Khan back in high school, but yeah, I don't remember anything. But now being sort of into this game, it makes you want to look at it. Yeah. And there's a few things like I started a documentary on Netflix about Jeffrey Epstein and shit the other day. Shit, been watching the Prince Andrew's fucking interviews and shit. Like, holy
it gets me to like I get into conspiratory mode. You just get full into that.
Shit's fucked.
It's pretty intense stuff.
Fucked. Shit's fucked. Maybe that'll be a topic for next time. How long have you been going, by the way?
120.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Well, another episode where we don't really know what we're talking about.
He gives a fuck, man.
Oh well. Anyway.
It's fun. It is
good fun. Well,
so yeah, this was more gaming sort of centric.
It's going to be different every time depending on how we feel, and that's how we feel this time.
I don't expect a lot of people to tune into this episode.
I don't care.
Yeah, because
we're just this is if anything, this is practice. So
sure.
Next time gets better, and then so on.
For sure. I was talking to one of my friends when I was in Sydney, and they were asking me if the numbers for the podcast is sort of going up, and I'm like, look, I don't even care if literally no one watches this.
I haven't looked since our first one, I think.
Yeah, well, the first one was like 50 something, and then second was like 48. I haven't checked.
It goes down.
It does go down, but I don't care. Like I said to him, my answer to him was, I don't care if it's just literally 2 people that watches this, because it's gonna take a while, and every episode we're doing, we're gonna get better. So hopefully we'll get to a point where we can because once because he was like, oh, why don't you guys maybe advertise your podcast and blah blah blah. Right now, my answer to him, I don't know how you feel about it, right? I want to get your sort of your thoughts and your take on it as well. But the way I said to him, like right now, the product that we're putting out, it's okay, but I don't think it's ready to be advertised to the main public just yet.
You shouldn't be making a podcast with the sole goal of getting followers, getting influence. You know what I mean? Like, we're literally doing this because
it's fun.
That's it.
Yeah,
like,
we enjoy
we just want to do it.
We enjoy talking.
And if you build up a fan base, sure, awesome. And then you've got people to interact with, and you can, communicate with about the podcast, and people know what you're doing, whatever. But like, that's not a thing we can even expect for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's even a thing that's going to happen.
Exactly.
Like you said, if 2 people listen, that's cool, right? That's just a... Oh, you're getting a call.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. Lucky it's on silent. It's going crazy. But yeah, it's it's just something you don't want to expect too much from, otherwise you're going to be majorly disappointed. It's not like we're going to get 1 million followers in the next month, you know.
But it's in a way it's like this journey, you know. We're gonna get better, and you know, if it gets somewhere, it will get somewhere. If not, like, I still enjoy it. I don't care if no one watches this; it's still fun. It's interesting to go back and listen. It'll be interesting. Imagine listening to this, you know, 5 years later.
Well, that's what I'm so curious about. Or even 10.
Yeah.
When you were like
so
a fucking grown old man, and you're like, Jesus, look at me back then, bro. Yeah. It's a good little like audio diary, you know, vocal diary, whatever. But yeah, man, if no one listens, I mean, I know at least one person will listen. So to that one person. Thank you very much. What the fuck, man? Fuck, man. I don't give a shit. Person. Fuck you. God.
You want to blow him a kiss? Yeah.
No. I'll send a letter later.
Oh, a letter? Alright. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, lip kiss on it. Nah. Send it off.
Put your aftershave on it.
We should put that as our... What? We should think about that, like our little MO as doing the podcast. That camera and this mic is a single person.
What?
We could get it going like that, like we're interacting with another person. Not like, oh, hi guys, how you doing? It's like all the people listening is one person, and we interact with them like one person. That'd be an interesting thing to play with, because no one does that. Everyone's like, oh, hey everybody, how you doing? Yeah. Would you be like, hey James? Everyone we listens to us is just James. Nah.
Why James?
I don't know. James is shit.
I don't want to fucking James.
No, that'd be interesting.
Fuck you, James. Don't listen to this. I'm joking. Were you talking about James just then?
Who?
Is your fan James?
No, I'm just giving an example. What's a cool name on here? We'll think of it. I don't know. We'll think of something.
Jin. Abby.
No! Oh my god.
We should name this episode something to do with Abby, I reckon.
No.
Yes.
No.
Just
no, I fucking refuse.
Yes. Come on, don't be a little bitch, man.
Fuck that. No. I actually hate her so much.
Best new character of this generation.
Oh god, best new
Stretching a bit too much.
Best new character, like... Fuck me, I don't know. Jesus Christ. New character. What new games have we had so far?
I don't know. Shit ton.
Not really. I mean, The Last of Us is a sequel. Doom's a sequel. Ghost of Tsushima is its own, but I don't think Jin's like a fucking character of the year kind of guy. He's just a pretty chilled out samurai, you know? No idea, bro.
Fuck yeah, I can't think of any either.
I'd have to have a good think. I'm trying to think of the games in... I mean, characters of all time, I'd probably say Nathan Drake. Yeah, I love him. I think he's just a cool dude. Yeah. Like, he's an awesome dude. Awesome. And, like, from the first game to the fourth game, he's just the same awesome kind of dude. So I think Nathan Drake's one of the best characters, for sure. Nathan Drake of the Uncharted series, for anyone who doesn't know. But if you don't know, then you don't even care. So
yeah. If you don't know, you're probably not listening to this anyway.
Yeah, so whatever. Anyway, but
I think we're wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we're gonna stop it there. It's pretty long. It's an hour and 40 almost.
Oh my god.
Bloody hell.
Fucking hell. All right. Well, thanks for listening. That was fun. Yeah. No, this was fun.
Tune in next time for something different, I guess.
Yeah, we'll find a different topic next time.
Yeah, probably be a bit more cheeky and funny. I felt a bit tired this time. You know.
No, it was good though.
It was good. Well,
it's good.
Thanks for listening, and you know, tune in next time. Don't tune in next time.
Yeah, fuck you, James. We don't even care.
I won't know anyway, so we're probably going to go look at the numbers after this and have a bit of a cry. Only 12. Oh, Jesus. No, it'll be all right. It'll be good. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys.